Why do Lehi and Nephi speak Egyptian if they lived in Jerusalem? Wouldn't the learning of the Jews, including the Hebrew language, be enough? Let's be real. When you think about Egypt, your brain probably jumps into pyramids, pharaohs, and a lot of eyeliner. But guess what? The Book of Mormon doesn't care much about pharaohs or government drama. Nope, it's all about Egyptian culture, especially the Egyptian language. Let me explain. In the book of Mosiah, King Benjamin speaks directly to his sons, teaching them about the importance of the scriptures, the brass plates, and their language heritage. He gives us this key verse in a scripture reference found in Mosiah chapter 1 verse 4, which reads, "For it were not possible that our father Lehi could have remembered all these things, to have taught them to his children, except it were for the help of these plates, for he, having been taught in the language of the Egyptians, therefore he could read these engravings, and teach them to his children, that thereby they could teach them to their children, and so fulfilling the commandments of God, even down to this present time." So there it is. Lehi learned Egyptian not for funsies, but because the brass plates, basically the Nephite family scripture, were written in Egyptian. He needed to understand the language to read them and then pass that knowledge on. It makes it perfectly clear that Egyptian was a second language for Lehi, kind of like English as a second language for us Filipinos. But that raises the question, where did that connection to Egypt even begin? Well, while reading the brass plates, Lehi discovered something about his own lineage. In another scripture reference found in 1 Nephi chapter 5 verse 14, Nephi tells us, "And it came to pass that my father Lehi found the genealogy of his fathers, wherefore he knew that he was a descendant of Joseph, yea, even that Joseph, who was the son of Jacob, who was sold into Egypt, and who was preserved by the hand of the Lord, that he might preserve his father, Jacob, and all his household from perishing with famine." So Lehi was a descendant of Joseph in Egypt, that same Joseph who saved Egypt from famine. Let's go back to the Bible for a second. In a scripture reference found in Genesis chapter 41, verses 50 to 52, it says, "And unto Joseph were born two sons before the years of famine came, which Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On, bare unto him. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for God said, He hath made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. And the name of the second called he Ephraim, for God hath caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction." Joseph married an Egyptian woman named Asenath, and together they had two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, whom they likely raised in an Egyptian-speaking household. That legacy of language didn't just fade. It followed through generations, eventually reaching Lehi and shaping how he preserved truth for his posterity. So, next time someone asks, why Egyptian? It wasn't about pyramids, eyeliner, or any of that. It was about preserving records, fulfilling commandments, and passing truth from generation to generation. Lehi spoke Egyptian not because it was trendy, but because it was essential. Now you know. So stop watching this and study your scriptures.